welcome back. It is Sunday sit-down time. With us now virtually is the St. Louis Post-Dispatch Mizzou Athletics beat writer Dave Matter. Dave, how's your Sunday going so far?
It's going pretty good. Quiet so far, which is always good.
Yeah, it's been a slow weekend for Mizzou Athletics, or at least for the men's basketball team, having the postponed game against Texas A&M. Do you think this week off is a good thing for the Tigers?
Well, we'll know when we see them play again, but I think it can be. Maybe unwind a little bit. We know they had that players-only meeting before the South Carolina game, and it seemed to work. Maybe they need to have another one after losing to Ole Miss. But they've definitely got some issues to figure out. They're just not playing at their peak right now, and this is the time of year when you want to be playing your best. So we'll see what came out of this weekend. If it maybe just getting away from the competition a little bit might have helped, or they can just kind of sharpen some things that just haven't been sharpened enough here lately.
Well, Mizzou's about to enter the final week of the regular season here with the Texas A&M game that was just postponed. They also had the Vanderbilt game postponed a couple months ago, it seems. Now, are those games getting made up, or are those a wash, you think, at this point?
As long as they can play these final two games against Florida and then at home next Saturday against LSU, there's not really going to be room to make up the other games. And the SEC would love everyone to play 18 games. It's just not going to happen. So they're just trying to get the most important games played, basically the ones that will decide the top of the standings and who gets those top seeds in Nashville. And this is how Missouri would like it. I mean, some fans may not understand that. Why wouldn't you want to play somebody like Vanderbilt or Texas A&M instead of LSU? Well, at this point, you're trying to get meaningful wins. And, the way that the strength of schedule system works, playing Florida and playing LSU is just more valuable for you than playing Vanderbilt. There's so much to lose in playing a game like Vanderbilt. As we saw with Ole Miss over the weekend, lost to Vanderbilt. That hurts you a lot more than beating them helps you. So Missouri likes its situation right now, playing two quad one games against Florida and LSU that can really help you.
Well, ESPN's Joe Lunardi has already said if Mizzou loses out, they're still going to make it to the NCAA tournament. So kind of what's on the table? What is Mizzou hoping to do these next two games? Why do they matter?
At this point, it's all about seeding. And as poorly as they've played here lately, they really built up some equity early in the season with those non-conference wins. And then those really good, valuable conference wins, beating Alabama at home. Alabama's going to probably be a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. And then beating Arkansas on the road was a huge win, probably bigger than we realized at the time. Arkansas is right there at second place in the SEC, a top 25 team that's playing as well as anybody in the SEC right now. So those are really valuable ones. Also winning at Tennessee, though Tennessee is kind of playing like Missouri is right now, not playing their best heading into March. So it's really all about seeding. You want to get into a game where you're the lower seed. It'd be great to be a 4 seed or even a 5 seed. They may have played themselves out of that right now, but again, they've got great opportunities ahead of them. If you beat Florida, if you beat LSU, all that's going to do is help your seeding, help your net ranking. So there's still a lot at stake here. And you're also still playing for a seed in Nashville in the SEC tournament. Missouri is still mathematically eligible to be a top 4 seed, that 4th seed. A lot has to go their way. They've got to win their games. But you do that, then you get a double bye, and you don't have to worry about playing that Thursday game.
Well, Mizzou's been very hard to figure out, especially these last couple of weeks with some of these late game losses. I'm curious what you think. Do you think it's more on Coach Martin or more on the players or a little bit of both?
Well, it's everybody. I mean, ultimately, the head coach is, got to be accountable. It's up to him to, put the players in the best position to succeed. And I think for the most part, he has done that this year. I mean, you can't be a team that beats Alabama and beats Arkansas and beats Illinois and beats Oregon just by accident. I mean, something right has to be happening on your team. That's why this is such a weird season. They have arguably the best wins in the SEC this year. They also have some just really unexplainable losses, like losing to Georgia, losing to Mississippi State. Ole Miss is a good, middle of the pack SEC team. They were probably a bubble team up until this weekend, but to get swept by them the way they got swept, it's just hard to explain. So I think right now they clearly have some issues at point guard with Xavier Pinson, the way that he's played lately. You're getting really good play out of Jeremiah Tillman, who looks like an all-SEC player. Kobe Brown is coming of age. Mark Smith has been really solid lately. Drew Smith, is in a bit of a funk. but Pinson really is. So that's something they've got to figure out, because when Pinson is right, this team is really good and hard to beat. When he's not, they can lose to anybody.
Let's move over to the football side of things now. Spring ball just getting underway. It's nice to be outside covering football again. I know, especially for you, because you didn't get a chance to even get out to practices last fall. What are some of the storylines that you're looking for this spring for Coach Drinkwitz entering year 2 now?
Yeah, the big one is the defense. Having a new leader in charge and Steve Wilks coming over from the NFL. A new voice, a new direction, a new scheme, although I don't know if it's going to be a whole lot different than what they did in the past. But that side of the ball has to replace some pretty good players. Obviously, a great one in Nick Bolton. Those senior safeties, did a lot for this program over the years. So just some new pieces there and new direction, I think, is something to really watch closely, because that defense, it was expected to be kind of the backbone of the team last year, and they really struggled late in the year. So that's obviously the room for growth on that side of the ball. And then offensively, this is Connor Bazelak's team right now. A year ago right now, we were talking about a quarterback competition and had no idea really who it was going to be going into the season. And once he stepped in, early in that Tennessee game, it's been his team since then. And now that these guys talk about him as the leader of this team, he's not the most talkative guy in the world. He doesn't have great charisma, but man, they really talk about him as if he is this maybe even older of a guy than he really is, the way they respect him so much. So they got to surround him with some playmakers. There's no doubt about that. You got to replace Larry Roundtree in the backfield, or at least his production. And they need some receivers to really stand out. And I think that's what is going to be valuable about spring.
Well, Mizzou fans will get a chance to see it up close and personal the next 2 Saturdays, and opening up to Coach Drinkwitz opening up practice. And so I'm glad that you're able to get out to practice too. It's hopefully it's a sign of things to come, and maybe we'll get you back in the studio here sometime soon. But Dave Matter, thanks so much for coming on and spending a little bit of time with us on your Sunday.
Great, thanks, Andrew.
All right, we'll be right back after this.